Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are now at the end of season 3. Due to popular demand, we will talk about cybersecurity again this episode. This time, it will be about how to protect our kids in the online space. Welcome to BCBP Alabang Mission Go Live Season 3, Be Honest with Coach, Episode 7, the final episode. I am Coach Anthony Lozada, your host, moderator, facilitator for Be Honest Online Series Season 3. Tonight's hot topic on cybersecurity was also discussed in the last episode. If you have not seen it, please visit our channel at BCBP Alabang on YouTube and Facebook. Yan. Okay, so there were a lot of tips and information shared on security and data privacy in our previous episode. But in this episode, we will talk about how we as parents or guardians, even teachers or professionals can help protect our kids in the online space. Our hope is to share preventive and safety tips for online users, especially for helping create a safe space for our kids, most especially at this time when online schooling is the new normal. And our kids will most likely do more research now and gather information online ever before. But before we dive into the discussion, let me say hello to all our brothers and sisters watching us live and on replay, to all BCBP Alabang chapter members and other BCBP community members out there, all our family and friends, good evening and thank you for joining us for episode 7. Now, as you chime into the discussion, live or on replay, please type in your insights, comments, and questions. We'd like to hear from you too. Let's keep this going, even if it's just on YouTube. And it will be a lively sharing of communication, sharing and learning from one another. This Go Live online series is one way we continue to live out our BCBP mission of bringing Christ to the marketplace and winning the marketplace for Christ. Our discussions this season are anchored on the BCBP Be Honest advocacy. Be honest even if others are not, even if others will not, even if others cannot. All right. Now, I would like to ask our guest panel to join me in this broadcast. There you go. Hello, Sonnie.
Hello, good evening to you, Coach, and
Peter. Yeah, good evening, good evening. We have 3 guest panelists joining us tonight. 2 of them are BCBP Alabang members, Peter Littaua and Deegee Anastacio. Later, I will ask them to introduce themselves. But before I do that, we would like to welcome to this episode our resource person for this topic. I'm a big fan of his. He is a COO, co-founder, co-creator, advocate, strategist, and the keynote speaker on cyber wellness and digital safe space. Muntik na akong mabusan ng hangin doon ha. Good evening, Mr. Sonnie Santos. Idol! Thank you for joining us at the BCBP Mission Go Live Be Honest series. Sonnie, I mentioned earlier, I attended your talk years ago when you were just starting your advocacy on how to protect our kids online. And I was really impressed at how you equip us parents, particularly on how to use those parental controls dun sa aming computers. So, Sonnie, can you tell us more on what you do, advocacies, what keeps you busy?
Basically, I am a human resource executive, so I am into corporate planning and people management, and more on protecting the rights and interest both of management as well as the employees. And on the sides, I do this cyber wellness and digital safe spaces advocacy, and that is to educate parents like me, students, and even young professionals to protect their privacy, to protect their brand, and to respect somebody else's human rights, so we can have more or less a conducive cyberspace, conducive to learning, conducive to our freedom of expression and so forth.
Yeah, ang ganda naman ng side activity mo. And kasi really it's really it's something, lalo na ako, hindi ako techie. I'm sure most of our viewers out there would identify with me. And then really I love what you do, and I'm really very thankful that we have Sonnie Santos out there that we can count on to help us. And I'm sure there are other support groups that can also that you can probably help us with, para we can continue this learning process that we are in now. Now, I would like to also welcome my fellow BCBP Alabang members, Deegee Anastacio and Peter Littaua. Good evening, Deegee. Thank you
Hello.
for thank you for
Thanks, Coach.
willingly serving the Lord through this mission Go Live. Ikaw na mauna, Deegee. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. Good evening and hello, everyone. I am Deegee Anastacio. I am a lawyer and I don't belong to the Gen Z. I'm not techie either. I used to work for the government for 16 years, but I'm now connected with the private sector. My husband Judd and I joined CLP 50, where Coach Anthony was the assistant course leader. And that was at the height of pandemic in 2020. And we are very grateful to have found this community in BCBP, which we consider as our family. So this is a Be Honest series, diba? So I'll be honest. I'm the one and only wife of Judd, my husband. And we have 3 kids. One is in senior high school. The second one is in junior high school, and the baby is still in grade school. So this topic, I really find it very helpful to us parents, because protecting our kids in the online space is very apt, considering that us parents, we always encounter issues, challenges, and even opportunities that we can give our kids. So in the hope that we can be enlightened on how we can guide our kids in as they maneuver also this fast and technologically apt era. I look forward to a very enlightening and very exciting discussion ahead with Coach here, with Sonnie here, and with Peter. So so now I turn it over to Peter to also introduce himself.
Hey, Peter, ikaw naman.
Good evening, Coach Sonnie and Attorney Deegee. No? So I'm from the millennial generation. So I'm Peter Littaua. I've been with the community since 2016, part of CLP 46, currently serving as a Program and Services Director for the expansion in Alabang North. So by profession, of course, I'm a father. I'm a husband to the beautiful Rem Littaua. She's beside me right now. Tinatapik ako. And I have 3 kids. No? So they're age 3, 7, and 9. So later on, yung challenges on how to control their gadget time, their device, ayun, marami tayong challenges doon. In my career, I'm an IT professional, so my main forte is project management, but I do a lot of infosec training and ICT policies, and I also do a bit of data science. So later on, what I expect from our discussion would be more of updating on the governance laws, data ownership, and more of this, given that data is the new oil, how to handle that challenge and how to instill the values needed to thrive in the online space.
Okay, Peter, ganda ng tenor mo parang oil It's slippery, but we really have to control it, and baka mahirap nang madulas tayo, and then we regret it. So let's get the discussion started. Mr. Sonnie, I have read about your work, and like what I mentioned earlier, attended one of your seminars on web safety for parents. In your recent experience and knowing how the virtual world of information and communication has evolved, what is the challenge, or what are the challenges for parents in protecting their kids living in this cyber world? Do you have a guiding principle for all parents listening in to us today? Although I heard your advice before to the parents should be proactive when it comes to online security of our children. So what do you think should we expect as a challenge in this new era?
I believe it's the influence. The parents are fighting for influence as far as their kids are concerned. So, importante as early as they are, yung influensya at saka yung presensya ng magulang ando doon sa ating mga anak. because as we expose them do sa social media, sa social platforms, so ando doon yung influence ng Western culture, ando doon yung influence ng free speech and so forth, creativity and expression. Plus, unregulated ang internet as far as the cyberspace is concerned, at least dito sa ating ginagalawan sa Pilipinas. Ano? So kung meron silang sariling linggo pagdating doon, meron silang sariling codes, etc. So, ang importante una sa lahat is yung impluwensya ng magulang. Sa umpisa pa lang, habang pinalalaki pa lang, dapat ando doon na kagad. Yun na yun. Pangalawa, yung abilidad natin to regulate the use of the different screens, kasi kung maliit pa lang yan, tapos free for all na sila, di ba? Kumbaga parang unli na yung kanilang exposure sa different types of screen. Then, mas mahirap nating controlling yan habang sila ay lumalaki. Pangatlo, no, it's more on how do we instill the old school values to our kids and how do they apply that pagdating dun sa virtual environment. So, ang mga bata kasi ngayon, they thought na hindi applicable online yung mga tinuturo natin sa kanilang GMRC. So, we have to keep that, keep them reminded pagdating dyan. And pagdating doon, ito yung pinaka-importante is maging privacy conscious sila na hindi nila i-share. When I was still raising my kid back then, ng elementary, ito yung rule of thumb ko sa kanila. Do not share your pictures in real time. Do not disclose where you are studying. Do not disclose your cousins, your siblings, and even me. Because I also do not disclose them as an HR professional. Marami akong kalaban di ba? Marami yung mga nasisante ko, yung mga nadisiplina ko, they're running after me. So if they cannot hurt me personally, di ba, or professionally, then i-scan lang nila kung ano yung social media platforms, makita nila kung sino anak ko, saan nagtatrabaho yung, saan nag-aaral yung anak ko, ano yung itsura nila, di ba? Then bingo, then they can do something already. So, dapat yun yung ituturo natin sa mga bata, yung how they should learn how to filter the information na kinoconsume nila, teach them how to eat fish, throw the bones, and consume the meat, teach them what to share, how to share, and where to share. Diba? Hindi yung bago mag-pray, pipicturean yung magkain, tapos tsaka isi-share. Diba? Tapos manonood ng sine, andito kami ngayon, o nagtitrip kami ngayon dito, so on and so forth, na little did they know that the cyber criminals can profile us, can profile them, kilala yung itsura nila, alam kung saan sila nag-aaral, alam yung birthday nila, sino yung magulang nila, then once na profile yan, madali na lang ma-figure out how to hack and how to access yung kanilang mga social media platforms. So, yun yung importante. Plus the fact na yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina, no, na teka muna, ano ba yung, pag nag-share ba tayo online, can we expect some privacy pagdating doon? Yung tinatanong kanina ni Peter na who owns the data. Diba? So, once nag-share tayo ng images, ng videos, or anything na medyo sensitive, anything na medyo personal, we thought it is safe and secure. Diba? Pero once it is already there, I think merong isang ruling ng Supreme Court yung sa St. Teresa, yung halos hindi graduate na because of what happened. Diba? So, ang ini-invoke ng parents noon, sinare lang yan sa friends. So, bakit naging issue? Bakit naging big deal? Diba? So, ang sagot ng Supreme Court doon, if I'm not mistaken, you can no longer expect the ambit of privacy once na nag-share ka sa internet at mayroong ilang tao na nagkaroon ng access doon. Because kung nakita natin yung picture nung halimbawa ng family ni Peter, meron akong access doon, then what prevents me from keeping a copy of those family photos? Right? So even if though I shared a simple photo sa inyong tatlo, diba? So I can no longer invoke privacy because you have access already to those photos. Diba? So parang merong implied consent doon that you can use those photos for whatever purposes. Okay, so yun yung dapat na maintindihan ng mga bata. What is cute right now may not be cute 10, 15, 20 years from now. Diba? What may be funny right now can be hurtful to them in the future. Not only to them but to the siblings and to the family. So I guess itong mga aspekto na to ang kailangan nating bilang isang magulang, habang maliit pa lang, regulated na yung screen time. Okay, we can research ano ba yung ideal screen time ng mga bata per age. I think may ginawa na ang pediatric group pagdating dyan. Okay, and pag too much exposure sa screen time, yung development din ng brain, hindi masyadong nagagawa. Ano? So, we have to be mindful pagdating doon. Pangalawa, kung sila ay merong access, di ba, papasok dyan ngayon, ano yung dapat nila ma-access. Okay? And meron dapat curfew pagdating doon sa pag-access natin doon sa internet at paggamit ng device. So back then, what we are doing is, by the time na nag-8 p.m. na, okay, then, yun. Kung piskado o merong common area yung mga gadget, lagay nyo dyan. Or kung hindi makuha yung gadget, yung pinag-uusapan natin, coach, na we can access yung OPNS and filter everything and lagyan ng restriction yung mga IP address o yung MAC addresses ng specific device para hindi makapag-access sa internet. However, merong challenge ngayon dyan. And dito dapat papasok yung ating collaboration with the school, with the other parents, with the community. Kasi, halimbawa, kung ang bata is less than 13 years old, so somehow hindi pa sila dapat magkaroon ng sariling account, di ba? Pero ang ginagawa ng mga teachers, yung mga assignments ninyo, ito-throw ko doon sa Facebook. Magawa tayo ng Facebook group. Di ba? So it's kinda, teka muna. Di ba? Ang school ba mismo ang magsasabi na huwag natin pansinin yung 13 years old restriction. Gamitin natin yung Facebook sa communication. I remember my daughter approaching me back then. Sabi niya, pa, pakigawan mo ko ng Facebook. Wala pa siyang 13 at that time. Sabi ko, gagawan kita ng Facebook. Pero kailangan ko magsinungaling kasi wala ka pang 13. So, pick your choice. Either gawang kita, magsisinungaling ako para sa iyo, or you wait until you makarating ka o mag-13 years old ka. So,
Buti sana hindi sinasabi, bakit yung classmate ko meron na eh.
Sinabi. Ito lang ang sinagot ko sa kanya. Okay, gagawa na kita, walang problema yon. Pero okay lang ba sa'yo magkaroon ka ng sinungaling na papa? Because I will not allow you to lie. Diba? So ako magsisinungaling pagdating sa'yo. So ang ending, nagintay sila pareho magkapatid na maging 13.
Tama. Kaysa turuan ng mali. Diba?
So dyan papasok yung collaboration with the other parents, with the school. Kasi mga kamamaya, hindi nag-uusap yung kaliwa at saka kanang kamay, sintonado, di ba? Hindi synchronize yung ginagawa nating initiatives at saka diskarte. Dapat, nakasynchronize yun, di ba? Kung sinabi natin sa bahay na hindi pwede, consistent dapat yung pati yung school. Otherwise, yung bata, makikita kagad nila, ay, hindi naman sila seryoso eh. Pare-pareho silang hindi nakakaintindihan eh. Di ba? So, makakakita na sila ngayon ng paraan para makadiskarte. Pero kung consistent at saka single ang messaging natin, di ba? Then, habang lumalaki yung ating mga anak, then, mas malaki yung impluensya natin. By the time na sila yung maging teenager, of course, aalagwa na yan. Wala tayong magagawa pagdating doon. Di ba? Ang mahalaga, grounded sila doon sa values na in-inculcate natin sa kanila. It will be too late.
I'll cut you off, sorry. Yung na-mention mo kasi na values parang it's still really very important mas isabihin ng mga bata. Kasi panahon nyo yan. Ngayon, iba na yung panahon ngayon. So ngayon, tanungin ko si Peter tsaka si DG. Ngayon, narinig niyo yung sinabi ni Sonnie, di ba? Kasi now we live in a world where everyone, I'm sure mga anak nyo, may gadgets, smartphones, laptops, iPads, social media accounts, ang dami. And then they have easy access anytime, anywhere. In fact, yung 'di ba, Peter, yung always online, yung status, yun na ngayon ang bagong norm eh. So, based on yung mga narinig niyo from Sonnie, what are your insights on this? What are your reactions to this?
Okay, Coach. Ako kasi, my experience, it's harder to teach adults than to teach kids. So syempre, di ba sa leadership, what they do, you set by example or you lead by example. If you put rules on devices, access control, yung na-mention ni Sonnie earlier, so we have device control, we have access control, you can filter your websites. But if the kids see you bypassing yung stuff na yun, and they learn how to bypass. That becomes a challenge. So, ako personally, what I do, I try to educate from what is a good content versus a bad content. So, you don't have to control. What you do is you manage, you instill that culture, that value. well, yung sa ano namin, no, in the corporate background, we should all be aware that now, when we say data, it's not only your private data, name, address, mobile number. It's your whole life. It's all the actions, your swipes in your phone, your clicks on your mouse, where you go for. If you go to a website, you look at the site, but you don't select anything. You go to another site, they collect those data, and it's part of this data analysis trend that's happening. So right now, what I do is I educate my kids on the value of data, and what Sir Sonny mentioned, no, anything you upload sa cloud, it's there forever. Kasi the cloud has a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup. And given that we don't have any data ownership laws, hindi ka pwede magpa-delete, no? Like there's this case, I think it was in Europe. It's a user from the US, and he wanted to delete his data in Europe, and he was allowed to do that in Europe. So as we mature kasi, well, the challenge in our case, no, I'm wearing my tech guy hat now, no. The technology is so advanced, yet the policy is so slow. So that's the gap that well, isipin mo na lang, I'm a user accessing my data in Singapore, but I have backups in several continents. So how do I file, or how do I request to delete my data? What governance will you use? And well, that's the challenge. No? So mahirap talaga. So given that, my plan is for my kids is to instill the value, those values that the data now, it's no longer private. So just manage how you use your data, and be a responsible cyber citizen.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. How about you, DG? May na-encounter ka na ba na ganyan? What did you do? Or yung mga protection, ano mo dyan?
Ang daming insights ni Sonnie eh. Parang na-overwhelm
Yeah.
ako. Ang dami kong pwedeng reactan eh. So first, I'd like to go back to how it was before the COVID kasi it was easy for me when my kids were growing up. It was easy for me to put limits as to the use of gadgets. Kasi they go to school during the day. When they come home, they do their assignments on their books, on their notebooks, in a bond paper, di ba? Wala yung gadget. And then weekends, okay, fine. It's your time to, from Friday night until Sunday afternoon, you can play. But Sunday night, it's study time again until Friday afternoon yan. So that was a routine that I was able to establish when they were growing up. However, with the COVID, where everybody had to stay home, I had to adjust that. Kasi one, the kids were online all the time, so they had their own gadgets. Second, like what I think it was Sonnie who said, assignments were given through Messenger. So there used to be a time where my kids used my messenger, but na-overwhelm ako kasi nagpa-pop up lagi sa cellphone ko. So parang ako, I'll make your own messenger lang just because you need it for school, but not because I will allow you. So there was a time na restricted pa rin yung messenger nila. They can only add people who I know that they were adding. Yung mga ganon. But for my teenagers now, medyo they're freer a bit now to open to add up their friends. And then the third one is the accessibility to any of the websites, diba? Yun like what si Peter kasi said na they can put restrictions. Hindi ako techie. Alam kong may such a thing as that, pero hindi ko alam paano gagawin. So what I do is the foundational character and value formation that we instill in our kids. So for example, I give them specific examples that happened to me. I'm from the province, diba? So once I went home to the province, and in the church I met someone who said, "Oi, how was your trip to Europe?" And I was like, "I don't even know." In my mind, I don't even know you. How did you know I went to Europe? And then she said, "Diba, we're friends in Facebook." So parang ako, shucks, I should not keep on accepting anyone on Facebook. So that's the examples that I give my kids. Na do not add anyone that you do not know, even if they are common friends with me.
Yes.
You always ask me first na parang, "Mom, do you know this person? He or she is adding me up. Should I accept or not?" May gano'n naman. Kasi in the house, I keep reminding my kids, one of the most important values that I want to instill is honesty, because I want to have that trust in you. And the minute that you break the trust in me, my kids are listening, so they know I keep repeating this. My kids are listening outside now. So I keep telling them, once you break the trust, you will have great difficulty getting it back from me. So for example, when I was growing up in college, in college, when I was in Manila, my parents were in Bohol, I would use that na ano, dad, I have a group meeting with my friends. Eh, walang cellphone at that time. So my dad could not check up on me. But the reality is, I was out with my friends eating dinner. So I told my kids now. That's why nga, honestly, I keep telling my kids this also, because I want them to know I make mistakes. I made mistakes, but I learned from it. And I told my kids, in this era where everyone is online, if you tell me I will have group work with my friends, I keep asking them, who are your friends? Because I know the parents of their friends. So I can easily check up on the parents of their friends. Are your kids studying with my kid? So sabi ko sa kanila, wala kayong lusot dyan. Kasi online can be both advantageous and disadvantageous also for our kids. Advantageous because they can freely speak to their friends, to their whoever, but disadvantageous in the sense, but because we are, as parents, can also check on them using that same online space for them. So as long as we are able to balance as a parent, and also based on our experience before, the freedom that we want to give our kids with limitations, definitely. And as long as we are sure that we are able to build a good character foundation in our kids as they are growing up, I think there is, we can give them enough leeway to maneuver themselves in the internet. Of course, I'm speaking about the older kids. For my grade school, she knows that I check on her messenger. She's open naman. All of my kids are open to me accessing their messenger, except that's why I also want to ask Sonnie here, where do we draw the line between freedom for our kids to have their own accounts and be away from our scrutiny eyes? And
Correct.
how can we actually ask them, can I look at your messenger? Because I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Peter or Sonny who mentioned earlier na there's porn everywhere. And our kids will have access to that. So parang growing up, sorry, our kids are growing up and we know that they're exposed to that. So that's something as of now that I'm still waiting for, I'm not waiting, but trying to pray for guidance on how I can manage my kids in that space. How can we
Okay.
prevent that from happening?
Sunny, before you answer that, answer ko lang muna tong, Sunny, what does cyber wellness mean, and how can we as parents contribute to this for our kids? And then we go to that question of DG, gandang question of, ano ba ang cyber wellness na yan?
Cyber wellness is a framework. It's a mindset, na okay, when you explore the web, meron kang consciousness na you are protecting somebody else's safety, somebody else's right, as well as you are protecting yourself. So this is not a list of do's and don'ts, but this is more of a mindset or a framework na, okay, I am here because I want to add value to the community that I belong. I want to add value to the people that I engage with. I am here to protect myself, take advantage of the benefits of technology, but at the same time, avoid unnecessary mishaps or negative online experiences. So that is the mindset. Now, yung digital hygiene naman, familiar dyan si Peter, this is more on what do you do after you log off sa browser, sa Facebook, if you use a public computer, paggamit ng VPN, paggamit ng so on and so forth. So, andito na ngayon yung the technical and the hard stuff. Okay? Cyber wellness, ito yung sa soft skills, ito yung sa behavior. Now, going into the question ni attorney, the more that we try to control our kids, the more na makikreate sila ng wall, ng space. Ako, ang nagiging strategy ko is, hanggang ngayon they know my password, they can access my messenger, my Facebook, multiple device kami, so they are using some of my older device, ando doon pa rin yung aking Facebook, yung messenger, etc. So anytime that they want to access my profile, they can. Alright, so somehow, parang ando doon tayo sa, okay, leadership example. My son, who is already 25, sometimes I can ask him, Log in mo nga yung LinkedIn mo dahil meron akong checkin, meron akong gusto kong makita to how things are. Iiwan lang niya, tapos bahala ka na sa buhay mo. Diba? So, walang issue. Alright? So, depende yan sa culture pagdating doon, sa culture natin pagdating doon sa bahay. And if meron tayong mutual trust, alam nila kung ano yung values, alam nila kung ano yung purpose, kung bakit gusto natin makita, then bakit hindi sila mag-share. The more that we try to control, mas techy sila sa atin. So halimbawa, meron silang mga pinopost na akala natin walang ganong klaseng post, pero nafi-filter nila, hindi lang natin nakikita. Pero yung network at yung friends nila, meron yon. Pwede mong targetin kung sino lang makakakita ng post mo.
Nako.
Okay, so the more na we will try to restrict them, the more na alagwa yung mga yun. Diba? So
parang Sonnie, what you're saying is kung natural sa family nyo, yung open communication, yung transparency, then it's easier to monitor each other's kasi nga nasi-share nyo yung mga passwords. Pero kung hindi na sana yung nagkikwento, transparent, parang all of a sudden, akin na yung password mo. Dahil may gusto akong silipin. So parang intrusion of privacy, di ba? Parang curtailment of freedom. Parang ganun ba yun, Sonnie?
So ang mas importante kasi, okay, kung again, hindi natin pwede itong gawin biglaan na all of the sudden teenager na sila, tapos biglang ganito yung magkakaroon tayo ng cultural revolution, cultural enhancement, etc. Hindi siya magte-take effect, hindi siya magiging effective. So, importante dito, as young as they are, we inculcate the right character, the right values, ano ba yung purpose kung ba't natin ito ginagawa. Ako sa HR, pagka nagagawa kami ng policy, ang lagi kong pinapaliwanag yung rationale, yung bakit. Diba? Kasi kung hindi nila naiintindihan yung bakit, hindi sila susunod. Ang tinitignan lang nila, it is restriction. Pero if they understand the whys of the guidelines of the parameters at naintindihan nila yung purpose, then nakukuha mo yung buy-in. Minsan mag-halfway kaya magsasuggest pa nga sila O kung ganyan yung purpose, bakit hindi natin gawin to? Minsan, ba't di ko naisip yun? Diba? So sa kanila pa nanggaling yung suggestion, meron silang buy-in. Katulad ng ginagawa ni Peter, sa kanya is, okay, this is the value of the data. Diba? So, you try to digest what is value adding, diba? And then you try to be careful on what you share. As long as naintindihan nila yan, alam nila kung paano. Ano yung dapat nilang gawin, ano yung dapat nilang i-share o hindi. Alright? Pero, syempre sa umpisa, talagang papaliwanag mo sa kanila yung bakit Bakit kailangan gawin ito, bakit kailangan gawin yan. Ba't hindi pwedeng i-share, ba't pwedeng i-share. Alright? So, yun. Tapos nakikita nila yung real life example. So, pag nakakakita, even my kids, pag may nakita silang incident or news, meron kaming GC sa family. So, binabato nila, no? Diba? So, we try to share information, the rationale and the whys of bakit pwedeng gawin ito, bakit hindi pwedeng gawin ito, bakit kailangan maging careful dito. So once na na-establish yun, nagkakaroon sila ng informed choice, informed decision, why they have to do this or to do that.
Yun. Pero Sonnie, ito common na discussion ko sa mga swimming parents ko na tinatanong nila, all of a sudden, yun nga, one horror story is meron siyang grade 7 na nanonood na ng porn online. Sabi niya, paano ba? How do you control yung accessibility? I remember may tinuro ka sa amin noon na itong gagawin mo, step 1, step 2, step 3, tapos yung mga Microsoft ganito, merong may security, paano ba yan, Sonnie?
Okay, dyan papasok tayo ngayon, gagamit na tayo ng technology. Gagamitin na natin yung filtering tools ng browser, filtering tools ng computer, yung ating router. Diba? So it's more on restricting specific sites para regardless of the device na gamit nila, hindi nila mapupuntahan yun. But we have to be realistic as well dahil yung mga bata ngayon mas matalino kaysa sa atin. Okay, I remember one time my son, 6-year-old yun, grade 6 siya at the time. Meron akong nilagay na parang online yaya, parental control. Okay, so may mga specific gaming sites na hindi niya supposedly mapupuntahan. Pero I was surprised back then. Bigla nagulat ako. Wala nang hindi nagno-notify sa akin itong parental control, di ba? So, I tried to check. Na-hack na niya. Na-disable niya na yung feature na may inform ako na nag-access siya ng ganito, ganyan. So, di ba, gulat ako, nagtanong pa ako sa kanya. Sabi ko, kuya, paano mo na-access yan? Hindi ako nagagalit ako. Gusto ko lang intindihan. Paano mo nagawa yun, di ba? So, kids are intelligent right now. Mas magaling sa atin yun eh. Para tayo nagpapatentero. So, babalansehin natin yung tools to restrict at saka yung education. Hindi puro education, tapos alagwasin na bahala ka sa buhay mo. Because alam naman natin, we are competing with influence, so mas malakas minsan yung influence ng peers nila. Hindi naman puro bawal o puro restriction, di ba? Otherwise, lalo silang makakahanap ng paraan kung paano makakaalagwa. So we always strike the balance. Technology, education, and values.
Technology, education, tapos reminder. Okay? Now, kanina we were talking... Oh, yeah, sige, DG, go.
Cyber wellness. Kasi di ba, ikaw, swimming coach ka, we know that in physical wellness, it's always prevention is better than cure. And I would say for cyber wellness, it's also the same. Prevention meaning education of the kids, value formation of the kids. It's better than curing whatever they have posted online and shared with everyone else online. Yun lang.
And then minsan din yung cure. Pero bago ka magtuloy, mag-hello ka muna. At yung isa sa mga kids mo, nanonood pala, si Attorney Jag. Hello, Iron Man.
Youngest ko yan. Pinakamatigas ulo yan.
Nanonood daw siya. Kailangan mag-hi ka daw. Mag-hi. Ayan. Hi,
Thank you,
Iron Man.
Son.
Oh. Okay. Kanina cyber wellness tayo. Let's go to cyberbullying. Okay, DG, Peter. Meron ba kayong experience yan? O na cyberbully na ba yung mga anak nyo? I know si Peter daw may gustong i-share on cyberbullying. Sige, let's go, Peter.
Ako, so sa case ko, yung kids ko naman, hindi pa naman nabully. Pero ako yung nambubully kasi ako yung nambubully dati. So, well, my hat now is a gamer, no? So when we say online kasi, it's anything that's not analog. So, nausod naman dati, sa amin millennials, no, Counter-Strike, trash talk, network gaming, so meaning internet cafe, nanong kayo lahat, murahan talaga nun, trash talk. Tapos, minsan, when you're playing Counter-Strike, if you're not familiar with Counter-Strike, it's, first person shooter. And usually, pag yung bullying doon, you just target one person. Tapos siya lang lagi yung namamatay doon sa game. So, binubully ka virtually doon sa game, and you bully him physically kasi inumura mo siya, trash talk ka. And nag-evolve yun napunta sa, nung gumanda yung internet natin, we had massive multiplayer online role-playing gaming. And then you develop communities, you develop economies, you elect your leaders. Nagkakabuling din doon. Pero doon ko na-learn din yung internet etiquette, yung na-mention ni Sir Sonnie earlier, yung cyber wellness, being a good cyber citizen. Kasi in one of the games, the structure was so complex that every time you buy and sell a product in the game, it affects the economy. And your leaders help out everybody. So it's like a small state. Diba? So what happens is we develop that camaraderie, we develop the community na maging maayos siya. And at the same time, we learn about economics in an MMORPG game. So yun lang. Pero right now kasi yung hurdle natin sa social media, nagsisin yung line ng virtual and yung physical. Kasi social media, you can create your account that it's your name, and you can create a different account that's not your name, anonymous. And may mga bagong pauso ngayon, my wall, my rules. So meaning, whatever you post online, if you're feeling bad, so you post a comment there, you're entitled to your comment. But the problem is, pwedeng may mag-comment sa comment mo. And doon nagsa-start yung mga away, no? Away online.
Oh, yeah. Oo, parang nagatungan na, di ba? Okay. How about you, DG? May nag-cyberbully na ba kay Jan? May magsa-cyberbully ba? Dalawa kayong lawyer.
Yeah, actually, sasabihin ko sana, like, si Peter, kami kasi, my kids used to play Among Us. Ganun din yon, patayan din siya. So what we did, since the kids play with their friends, sabi ko, let's do it nga once every weekend. Let's do an Among Us game. Kaming lahat in the house, including Judd, the cousins that we have in the province. And ang binubuli namin actually si Judd. We all agree, let's kill Dad first. Or let's boot him out of the game. So, nabubuli siya. But kidding aside, I haven't heard my kids naman say something about they have been bullied in the cyberspace. And in fact, my youngest has a group with her friends, and she always says, "Mom, my two friends keep on arguing and booting each other out of the GC, and then coming back, and then the other one gets booted out again." And I asked her, "What about you?" Sabi niya, "I'm always constant there. I don't argue with anyone, and nobody argues with me." So, in fairness, the school also of my kids have lessons on cyberbullying. In fact, just last week, we were drawing something about if you were a cyberbully, what will you do in this case? So it also helps that we have the schools educate our kids on what they can do in online space, because reality is everyone is online. So and I go back to cyber wellness foundation talaga is very crucial for them to be able to adjust to the online space, and eventually when they go out into the real world when things go back to normal, they also have to be able to adjust to the situation.
All right. How about Sunny? Any tips on or reminders on cyberbullying, para kasi it's really something that will also cause depression, lalo na pag hindi mo kayang ma-handle yon. And I'm sure, and I know there are laws also out there to protect the victims of these cyberbullies. Sunny.
Nakamute pala ako. Anyway, before I answer that, pareho kami ni Peter pag nakikipaglaro sa mga anak namin. Ang gawa ko nun sa panganay ko pa nag-NBA kami. Pag natatalo na ako, sinisipa ko yung saksakan para mamatay. So, form of pambubuli din, di ba? Mga tatay bully eh. Anyway, so pagdating sa bullying, again, dito papasok ngayon yung i-restrict ba natin yung mga anak natin na wag silang magsalita, na wag nilang sasabihin yung opinion nila kasi it might hurt the other person. Yan yung dilemma natin ngayon eh. Diba? So, at one end, we have a group of millennials or Gen Z that are crying out mental wellness, mental health. Diba? Because pagka sila ay konting titik lang, konting pressure lang, walang masyadong resilience, they already invoke mental wellness. On the other extreme, we have these young people then, diba? So masyado silang creative sa paggawa ng memes, masyado silang creative sa pag-vlog, masyado silang creative sa pag-express ng opinion nila to the point na hindi na silang mindful na hindi lang yung present situation ng mga bata, but even the future of the kid and even the siblings and even the entire family, diba, is already being affected. So, paano natin ito babalansihin? Yan yung challenge. Parang yung in-explain din ni Peter kanina. If we will restrict data, then masyadong magiging complicated buhay natin because the more you share data, the more an algorithm can analyze it and can offer it to you on a silver platter. Mas mabilis na ngayon mag-analyze if you have data science, if you have data analytics. In the same token, itong freedom na na-experience natin, it's supposedly good for mental resilience. Kasi kung papansinin natin, balikan natin 10 years ago, nung unang nabully si Attorney Chris Lau. Hindi pa siya lawyer, no? Siya yung ginawa niyang submarino yung sasakyan niya. Di ba? So talagang, ayun, itong mamang ito, kailangan pang pumunta sa Thailand para mag-recuperate. To the point, according to him, yung pawis niya dugo. I even asked one of my pediatrician or doctor friends, sabi ko, is that even possible? Sabi niya, yes, if you are in mental anguish. Walang tatanggapin yung sistema mo, lahat iisipin nila kalaban. Hindi rin siya makakain tapos nagpapawis ng dugo. That's how it is back then. Pero tignan mo ngayon, pag merong binubuli, pag merong kinukuyog, wala na tayong masyadong nakikitang violent reaction. Wala na tayong masyadong nakikita na, etong taong to na-depress, etc. I'm not saying na okay mambully. What I'm simply saying is na-develop yung mental resilience. Parang it's already part of our online life that we are going to receive this. Parang ang dapat nating maituro sa mga kabataan, if you're willing to give out, di ba, kung susuntok ka, you should also be willing to receive. Ngayon, kung hindi ka ready na tumanggap, okay, then wag kang magbigay yung mga ganon. So, it's basically teaching people to strike the balance on exercising your right, and at the same time, make sure that we respect the right of another human being. That's the main premise of trying to control and manage freedom of expression and avoiding itong tinatawag nating negative online experience.
Yun, okay. So, grabe, DJ Peter, ang bilis ng oras. Sinisignalan na ako na to wrap it up. So anyway, as a final thought, no, as a final thought, and also I'd like to ask si Peter and then DG, and then we'll go to Sonnie. Do you have any tips? Yung best practices nyo based on what we've learned from Sonnie, and also what you've been using dyan sa house nyo and how to protect your kids. Anything that you can share with our viewers right now as your parting shot. Let's start with DG.
Yeah, okay. So me, I go back to what I say is cyber wellness, which is protection. So it's really important that we start our kids. We train our kids with the right values. We teach them the right values at their early age so that they can bring that up as they grow up. And this applies not only in the online world, but even in their day-to-day lives. And for me, it's still us also parents being the best teachers, and of course the role models of our kids. So as long as for me, we always want to teach the kids through examples by living it ourselves. For example, if you teach your kids to eat vegetables and you don't eat vegetables yourself, that's not telling them how to do it, diba? So we try to follow that rule, whether it's online or in face-to-face and in everyday lives. So yun lang, we are the best examples and teachers to our children and the role models.
Yes, pati si Attorney Jad, kailangan ganyan din. Early pa lang turuan mo na. Remember yung sinabi ni Sonnie kanina, nag-share. 'Di ba? Nag-share ng sinishare din niya yung password niya para pagka humingi rin siya ng password ng mga anak niya, then it's really given. Kasi yun nga, sabi mo, DG, lead by example. How about you, Peter? Final message.
Yeah, ako, Coach, dun tayo sa techie part muna. No? So, you have your hardware ways of controlling. No? You check your router. From the router kasi, yung gamit ko, no? You have parental controls. And there are different categories. So, may adult. Actually, pwede mong control yung ina-access ni Mrs. Coach. Makita mo yung insights. Ano yung pinupuntahan niyang, and you can filter. Pwede mong i-block yung Lazada at yung Shopee pag 10-10.
Okay,
para walang makita. No? Aside from that, you have your device controls. Your device controls would be your access sa TV, access sa phone, sa tab, sa laptop. And last na, yung filter, yun yung mga hardcore. No? Pinapasok mo na, ini-encode mo dun sa system. Ano ba yung bawal nilang puntahan? But more importantly, yung value talaga eh. So you should teach them what content is good for them. And the next would be, why are you accessing that content? I'll ask them that eh.
Parang what purpose, di ba? What purpose?
Bakit ka ba nanonood ng mukbang? Di ba? Or bakit inaaraw-araw mo yung paulit-ulit na video ni Picture Boom? Mga ganun. Kasi if you ask yung usual 5 whys, diba? Then you get to learn what's their root or what's their purpose in going to that content, and you'd understand your kids better. Well, applicable to adults then. For me, it's more of not controlling, not protecting them. It's more of instilling that the internet is a tool, and apps and systems are tools, and we shouldn't be used by tools. So we should be using the tools. So if you instill that into them that you're the one using the tools and you shouldn't be used by a tool, then I think that solves all the problems.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Sunny, it's your turn. Any final thoughts or your message to our viewers?
Sorry, ito yung problema natin sa technology, di ba? It can definitely help us, and but at the same time, it can also fail us. Sorry na wala ako.
Walang warning, ano? Walang warning.
Oo.
Okay.
Anyway,
Go, Sunny.
ang problem pagdating kasi sa information security, sa negative online experience, and any problems related to technology is the human factor. Okay? Walang perfectong technology. Walang perfectong gadget or device. As long as merong tao behind that device. Okay? So, in order for us to ensure na meron tayong digital safe space, na manage yung expression ng ating mga human rights, ng ating freedom, that we will protect the kids as that they navigate and learn dun sa different virtual environment and technology. As long as our children and even the parents, including the yaya and the teachers and the school, if we are educated and moving in one direction, mas makakatulong ito sa atin. So, para sa akin is, sa suggestion ko is we can collaborate with the community, with the school, with the barangay, diba? So that we will have the same messaging sa family, pagdating sa school, diba? Then that is much, much better to ensure yung human factor pagdating dito sa information security, pagdating sa cyber wellness. Kung may strengthen natin yan, then we can ensure na meron tayong safe space.
Yeah, thank you, Sunny. Parang yun nga sinasabi, it's not the arrow, it's the engine. Yung human factor talaga, whether it's a parent, an adult, or a child, it's really yung human factor that makes a difference. So, as a message to the viewers, our episode is all about, being vigilant, being proactive. Know what is out there and create safe spaces for your kids, whether online or offline. And sabi nga ni Sunny and si DG that earn their trust so that they can open up to you when there are experiences that they may have difficulty handling, especially when they seem to have difficulty with their cyber wellness. So ang magandang call to action dito is we have to be yung sinabi nga na proactive, and in this episode there were a lot of tips given by our panelists, and most of them are really crucial towards protecting our kids and even protecting ourselves from information that's in the online space. So we'd like to tuloy natin to DG DG Peter, Sunny, tuloy natin to sa backroom and to all our viewers out there, I'd like to thank you that you watched us live, and to those watching on replay, there is so much more we can discuss on this topic. Keep it going. We'd like to hear from you, even if it's just on replay. So may the awareness from this episode help all of us in creating safe online space for our kids and other kids out there. Let us be mindful about the realities of the world online and help create more honest, peaceful, and safe space for ourselves and our family, even our co-workers, and in the community, especially for our children. It's really one thing that we are exposed online, but it's also one thing that we have to be careful on what we share. And this we remind also our children, because we cannot be there 24/7 watching them, what they type in, where they go. It's really us being creative parents when it comes to this issue. Now, again, I'd like to invite you to like, follow, and subscribe to BCBP Alabang on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And make sure you click on the bell for notifications. This is Coach Anthony Lozada signing off. Have a restful evening and God bless everyone. Alright, dami pang pwedeng tuloy natin.
Coach, pwede ko na ba ilabas yung mga nakakatakot?
Yung totoo.
Yung totoo.
Oo.
Well, kami sorry, Sonnie and Deegee, go ahead. Yung kanina earlier, no, I wanted to discuss yung
Nawawala ka, Peter.
persuasive technology tsaka behavioral technology.
Is it
Behavioral
me
change
or...
technology.
Sunny, pakiulit na lang, Peter. Laksan mo lang yung boses mo.
Yeah,
Parang na-miss yung first part eh.
So ngayon yung scary part, yung persuasive technology and behavioral change technology. So the big tech companies, what they're doing, it's lesser actions to get to a certain point. So kaya swipes sa Facebook or ngayon, 'di ba, mga Tinder, left or right na lang. Mas konti, mas addictive, mas mabilis yung pasok ng info. Kaya nilang i-trigger yung behavioral change. So I'm not a professional in HR or psych, but it's a way, if you gather the data and you learn that people react to this change in platform, kaya nilang i-trigger to a certain bias or a certain behavior. Yun ang scary. And yun, well, sige, ano na lang, like from last year, I think I shared this with Coach, in the data science field, they're already planning out AI that replaces a jury. 50% is based on an AI and 50% is based on an actual jury. There's a jurisdiction, they're testing, hindi pa napapanganak yung bata, alam na nila if for foster care or hindi because of the data indicators. And that's because they can collect the data from social media. And that's what's scary.
Yeah, true. Yun ang nakakatakot talaga. DG, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I just want to react to that kasi before, di ba, when you scroll on Facebook, sometimes it just brings you to sponsored sites that you usually are interested in. So like in my case, I only look at Facebook for news reports. Tapos lahat na yan, Rappler, Inquirer, Star, everything nagpa-pop up. But there was one time na we were just talking about, let's say a beach resort, parang ganon. Tapos the next thing I knew, when I opened Facebook, ang daming beach resorts, and I said I did not even search for that. Ano yung narinig?
What are you using? What device?
Well,
Is it Android or iPhone? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. But it happened to me, the same thing. So I was just talking to Rem, to my wife, about a certain product. And when I looked in Viber, the ad came up. So it means they have back access and we allow them the access. Kasi when you install your apps, do you recall if you install your apps, they ask you what access do you want to provide to your app?
Hala!
And if hindi ka nagbabasa nung usual, di ba?
I'm sure maliit lang yun, no, Peter?
Oo, ang style nila, para hindi nila mabasa, sobrang liit ng font, sobrang daming ilalagay. So the tendency is you go to the last page, you click on OK, and you accept. Pero actually, the app gains full control of your device.
So pwedeng na lang, install, uninstall, tapos basahin mo ulit.
Kung masipag ka, parang si Atty. Deegee. Pero kung ako kasi like, data kasi, ako kasi like, biometrics, you use it, you upload it na. Pag pumasok sa Google, kailangan ng date of birth, nandun na. So it's just of managing na lang the risk yung sa akin.
Sunny, meron kang additional dyan sa mga ganyan?
Yung mga acquaintances ko na digital activist, masyadong conscious yung mga yon na before na even mag-meeting, they require to turn off their cell phone and leave it someplace else. Hindi dinadala. And some of my InfoSec friends, meron pa silang mga speaker na nilalagay doon sa camera ng kanilang phone. And tama si Peter, ako pagka nag-install ng app, hindi lang pag nag-install, kadalasan nire-review ko yung mga permissions that I give to the different apps. Kung hindi necessary, like halimbawa, one time nasa mall ako, and nagkataon na hindi pa ako nakaplano nun. Sabi ko, makikiconnect ako sa free wifi. So free wifi yun, pero they are requesting access doon sa phone directory at saka sa storage. So, bakit mo kaya para lang makakonect ako? Inquirer, yung Android version ng Inquirer before. So, in-install ko. Tapos, isa sa permission, storage, mic, and camera. Sabi ko, bakit? Diba? Hindi magbabasa ako, hindi ako.
Magbabasa ako, hindi naman ako magbo-broadcast.
Coach, may share ako
Diba?
doon. Hindi ko alam kung preview si Sir Sonnie doon, no? Pero yung free wifi, free internet, free Facebook sa Pilipinas, sinabay yun doon sa last election. So, i-connect mo, just connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Si Cambridge Analytica.
Parang yung ginawa sa Amerika, parang gano'n ni Trump.
Yeah, pero yung maganda doon, you watch na lang yung Social Dilemma. That's on Netflix. And there's this one documentary, yung kay Cambridge Analytica. Kasi yung behavioral change technology was there and is there 15 years ago. Like I mentioned, diba? I work in government now. And I don't know if you watch yung Persons of Interest. Nagkakatotoo na siya eh. Yun yung scary. So yung web
I attended this PhilSec conference lang a few months back, 2 months ago. Ang strategy ngayon pagdating sa gera, unang niro-roll out is yung fake news. Okay, so yung pag-invade ng Russia dito sa Ukraine, so 3 years in the making yan. So parang ang una nilang ginawa is mag-proliferate ng fake news, lituhin yung tao kung ano ba yung alternative truth doon sa real truth. So once na meron ng alternate truth na namamayagpag, di ba? Ibig sabihin hindi na solid yung grupo na gusto mong gibain. So nung yung pinaka-foundation na yon nagiba na, pumasok na yung Russia. And that has been the new strategy right now. And ang scary dyan, merong company, I think, yun yata yung naka-base sa Russia, that does it for you, yung fake news. Pero China, it is state-sponsored. So sa Russia, it's a private institution, it is a business. Pagdating sa China, sila mismo government.
Yung doon.
Galing, no?
So, ang unang dyan, alternate truth, di ba? Fake news. Halimbawa, apply natin ngayon. Di ba? So, bakit nag-landslide bigla itong si BBM? Okay? I'm not pro-BBM, I'm not anti. Just looking at the data. Alright? So, di ba? So, kung titignan natin yung sinasabi nga ni Peter, okay? So, yung pag-shape ng mindset ng tao prior doon sa changes na gusto nating mangyari. So, data manipulation, and ito dito pumapasok yung soft side ng social engineering.
Galing coach, like pasaka kita ng basta ang dami kasi
dami Di bali Peter, para mapasok na natin sila Anton. Again, I'd like to thank Sonnie and Deegee and Peter for sharing your time with us and expertise. And this won't be the last. I'm sure yung mga susunod dyan, we will have another one for it. Kasi nakakabitin talaga. Okay, so again, thank you. And good night. Meron kayong alis.